What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're gonna talk some football, Houston Texans football. Today we about to talk about all pro Sting and how he about to get paid, like for real. He about to get for real paid, and how Nick Caserio, as the first time as a general manager, have to issue out a real big contract. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break it down. Before we get there, like I tell you before, if you're liking the content, make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're watching all the videos, you liking all the videos, you comment on the videos, you sharing all the videos on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share it on the same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. We're still trying to get this channel growing and growing and growing. I can't do that without y'all help. So you know what that means. I need y'all to do your part. So I need you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell another friend, so they could tell some friends, so they could tell some friends, so they could tell some more friends and put them on game with the channel. Really, really appreciate that. Now, let's talk about it. Cornerback Darius Stingley Jr., all pro Sting, by the way, is eligible for a contract extension this offseason. And it seems like that both sides definitely want to get the job done. Stingley's been on record during interviews and podcasts and things like that saying that he wants to remain in Houston. He wants to be a Houston Texan long term. He wants to get the contract done. This is the place for him. So it seems like he desperately wants to get this contract done. And you know that Nick Caserio, he definitely wants to get this contract done. He wants to make sure that one of the best cornerbacks, if not the best cornerback in the NFL, is on this team and on this roster for the foreseeable future. So he definitely wants to get this contract done. And this is a real big deal for Nick Caserio because this is actually Nick Caserio's first time he has to issue out a huge contract. Again, I know he gave Nico Collins a contract extension last year. This is a little bit different. We're talking about this is Nick Caserio's first ever first round draft pick, period. First ever first round draft pick. And we're also talking about somebody about to be the highest paid at their position. When he gave the contract to Collins last year, Nico wasn't the highest paid receiver. I think he was like 8th or 9th or 10th. And right now he's either 11th or 12th highest paid receiver in the field. We're talking about making Darius Stingley the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, period, and try to be the highest paid cornerback for a while. Now, it kind of depends on what Sting views as being the highest paid, because normally when we talk about somebody being the highest paid, it's based off of how much they make per year. Kind of like when you talk about a number one offense or a number one defense, it's based off how many yards they've gained or how many yards they allowed. When we talk about like when we differentiate, when we go number one scoring defense or number one scoring offense, like we make sure we put that like, it's number one scoring. We don't say number one offense in yards. We just say number one offense. But that's how we normally talk about the number one offense. The offense gets the most yards. Number one scoring offense, we make it a little bit different, and we're talking about the offense that scores or team that scores the most points. So it depends on how Sting views about being the highest paid, because you got some people who want to be the highest paid per year, which is what we talk about being the highest paid position. Then you got some people that want to be the highest paid as far as fully guaranteed, like how Deshaun was. Deshaun was the highest paid quarterback as far as guaranteed dollars for a while, up until I think Dak Prescott just oversees them this past off season. Or we could talk about people who want to have the big number at the end of the contract, like kind of like how Clowney was searching for that $100 million. Like they want to be known as that big number at the end of the contract. So it kind of depends on what you view as being the highest paid. But when we talk about the highest paid, we're talking about normally how much somebody's making per year. And I have the top 5 highest paid cornerbacks in the NFL. I want to talk about what their contracts are as far as years, full guarantee, how much they're getting paid per year, how much the big number is on the contract, exactly where Stingley falls in that, and also where it could be a potential hangup in Stingley's contract. Now, the number one highest paid cornerback in the NFL is Jalen Ramsey, 30 years old, cornerback out of Miami. He has a 3-year, $72.3 million contract. His money per year is 24.1, which makes him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. His fully guaranteed is only 24.2 fully guaranteed, but he's the highest paid based off of how much money he makes per year at 24.1. Number 2 is Patrick Surtain, 24-year-old cornerback out of Denver. He has a 4-year, $97 million contract, 24 million per year, and he's the highest paid as far as fully guaranteed dollars, because his fully guaranteed contract is 77.5 fully guaranteed. So he's the most paid by as far as fully guaranteed standards. Number 3 is Jair Alexander, a 28-year cornerback out of Green Bay. He has a 4-year, $84 million contract, making only $21 million a year. Fully guaranteed is only at 30. Number 4 is AJ Terrell, 27-year cornerback out of Atlanta, out of the Falcons. He has a 4-year, $81 million contract. Money per year is $20.2 million, and fully guaranteed is $65.8 fully guaranteed. And number 5, the fifth highest paid cornerback is Denzel Ward, 28-year cornerback out of Cleveland. He has a 5-year, $100.5 million contract with 20.1 million per year, and his fully guaranteed is 71.2. Now he's the highest paid as far as the overall number. Now he does have an extra year. He has a 5-year deal, where everybody else has a 4-year deal. And Jalen Ramsey, probably based off his age, because he's a 30-year-old cornerback, only had a 3-year contract. But Denzel Ward, like I said, 5 years, $100.5 million per year. And fully guaranteed is 71.2, but he's only making $20.1 million per year. So okay, Jalen Ramsey is the highest paid cornerback as far as money per year at 24.1. Patrick Surtain is the highest paid as far as fully guaranteed at 77.5. And Denzel Ward is the highest paid as far as the big number on the contract at 100.5 million dollars, $100.5 million. So it depends on exactly where Stingley wants to fall in that lineup as far as being the highest paid. And again, him signing David Moore together this past offseason showed that he was looking for those big dollars. Because when you fire, especially if it's one thing if you had David Moore together as your agent already, but when you have an agent and you fire your agent and you bring in somebody like David Moore together who's known to get huge contracts, who's known to get his clients again. He's actually Jalen Ramsey's agent as well. He's known to get he got Deshaun Watson that fully guaranteed that was so big for 3-4 years or whatever it was. So we know the type of what type of agent that is, and he's going to go out there and try to be the highest paid. As soon as Stingley hired David together, I thought, hey, Stingley's coming to be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, and then he backed it up with a fully healthy season and gave you a Pro Bowl and an All Pro. This is going to be the hang-up because it's going to be, in my opinion, I feel like this offseason, it's going to be a stare-off between potentially 3 corners, but more than likely just 2. And that's Derek Stingley, McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs, because he's eligible for a contract as well. He's another first-round pick in that draft class. And also the name that a lot of people probably are annoyed with, especially in the Texan fan base, and that's Sauce Gardner. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I know y'all not gonna like this. Y'all not gonna like this at all. Based off of accomplishments, Sauce, I'll put it to you like this. Both Stingley and Sauce have a legitimate, I don't want to say gripe, but have a legitimate claim to being the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. And based off of accomplishments, Sauce should be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL based off of accomplishments. I'm not saying that Sauce is better than Stingley. I'm saying based off of what they're bringing to the table as far as accomplishments. Because you talk about everything that Stingley has accomplished this season, Sauce accomplished that as well, and he has it twice. Like Stingley's a first-team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler this year. Sauce is a 2-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time first-team All-Pro, and he also has Defensive Rookie of the Year in the same draft class. And I know what people gonna say. Well, I says Stingley better than Sauce. Stingley gets Stingley for the last 2 years, this past year and this year. Last year and this past year, both had 5. He ended the season with 5 interceptions. And Sauce, I think Sauce only has like 4 in his career, or something like that. Again, same thing. Like that's why McDuffie is a little bit low, because McDuffie, I think, only has 2 interceptions, and they both came this past year of his career. The thing about Sauce, but then Sauce also has over Stingley, is that Sauce has been healthy his entire of his career. Stingley has from 2019, which was his freshman year at LSU, into this past season, has only played 2 full seasons. His freshman year at LSU, and then this past year in 2024. So in 2020, 2021, his last 2 years at LSU, missed time. And then his first 2 years in the NFL, 2022, 2023, missed significant amount of time. And that's the part of the reason why Stingley only has one Pro Bowl and one All Pro is because of the time that he missed. And you do want to be a little. Again, those are a little bit weird when you talk about handing somebody out a huge contract and give somebody a massive contract. Now, me personally, I think that Stingley should be the highest paid cornerback because I believe that Stingley is the best cornerback in the field. It has nothing to do with percentages. It has nothing to do with taking the football away. He has all these interceptions. I feel like he's the number one cornerback in the field because he does one thing that I can respect the most that any cornerback does in NFL. I'm not saying he's not the only one to do it. Other cornerbacks do it, but he does it at an elite level, and that's why I respect it the most. Is that he every single week that he's out there on the field, he has the ability and will go and take away the opposing team's number one option and make sure that that person is a non-factor throughout the entirety of the game. Unlike Sauce, who plays one side of the field. Now, again, I know that he had Reed on the other side, so again, stay on one side of the field. But Stingley had this past season had Kamara and Stingley still traveled when he needed to travel. When there was a receiver of that ilk and he needed to travel, if it's a receiver that ilk that he needed to travel, he would follow that receiver throughout the entirety of the game, and he would be able to make that receiver non-existent. Look at what happened against Miami when he was going up against Tyreek Hill. Now, I know Tyreek Hill wasn't having the best of season, but he had his quarterback and Tua in that game. Because again, most of the season he didn't have Tua. He had Tua in that game, and Stingley basically neutralize him and make sure that he was no part and no factor in the game. Now, again, granted, everybody talks about the two interceptions he got, the interceptions he got to end the game, and that's great because it ended the game. You took the football away. I understand all that. But the fact that he was able to take away a team's number one option and be like, hey, you can't be a factor today. Your number one option will not be a factor today because with Sauce, even the Sauce is having a good game, I'm going to just move my receiver on the opposite side. And now I've just neutralized Sauce. I just made Sauce a non-factor in the game. You can't do that when you go up against the Texans. You can't just, I'm going to just move. Like for instance, when you're going up against the Jags, Brian Thomas. They ain't gonna just we just move Brian Thomas over here and we just get him away from Stingley. Boom, now Stingley's ineffective. Now, no, we got Kamari on the other side that does also help Stingley out, but you ain't gonna be able to do that because you move him over to this side, Stingley gonna go right there. You go over this side, Stingley, no matter where he going, you're gonna go. Stingley's gonna go wherever your receiver is. So because he's able to do that and does that at a elite level, like he legitimately takes away and makes their number one receiver a non-factor in the game. That is what I respect the most, and I feel like that's what makes him the best cornerback in the field. It's not just because he's taking the football away. I mean, we've seen Deron Bland, and we've seen and I actually like Trayvon Diggs. We've seen Trayvon Diggs lead the league in interceptions. But also the same year he led the league in interceptions, he was also like leading the league in yards allowed as well. So yeah, so just say for instance, a career high interceptions is 8 interceptions. So that's a great. You lead the league in interceptions, 8 interceptions. So you probably get 1 interception out of 8 games. That still leaves 9 games. And if those 9 games you're giving up a $120 and a touchdown, I'm not calling you. I'm not saying, oh well, hey, just because he took the ball away 8 times. No, but the other 9 games, he gave up a $120 and the touchdown. That's not good. That's just because he was able to get his hands on the football 8 times in the season. Whoop-de-damn do. Like I don't care about that. Like Stingley next year could have less interception rate and had like he has 5 the last 2 years. Say Stingley, I think he's gonna have no less than 3 interceptions. He's that type of caliber of athlete. He's gonna at least get 3 interceptions every season. But let's just say he ended up having 2 interceptions, but he eliminated the number one receiver in 90% of the games that he played this season. Again, because you gotta count he's gonna have a bad game here. That means he's only human. He's gonna have a bad game. But if not 90% of the season, he eliminated and made sure that it made the opposing offense number one receiver a non-factor of that game of those games, and he only got 2 interceptions. He is a huge contributor on the defensive. He's a huge contributor on the defensive side. He's an effective defensive player. He's one of the best defensive players and one of the best, if not the best, DBs in the NFL because he's able to take away opposing teams' number one receiving option. And that's what Derek Stingley does every single week he steps on that field. He's one of, if not the best athlete on the field That's dating back since 2019 as at LSU, being on the same field with Jettas and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow and Clyde Hilarious Leclerc and whoever else, Thaddeus Moss, whoever else was over on the LSU team. That was a monster LSU team that went out there and win a national championship. He's been one of, if not the best athlete, the best player on the field ever since he stepped on the field at LSU and obviously here today in the NFL. He's that caliber athlete. That's what type of player he is, and that's why I believe that he is the best cornerback in the NFL. And I feel like he will be the highest paid cornerback. But again, it's going to be a stare off because whoever's going to sign first between him and Sauce. Him and Sauce are going to be staring at each other right there in the face. All right, and they're going to be kind of waiting on because I really don't know who Sauce agent is. I don't know if he's. I feel like he's represented by Drew Rosenhaus, but I could be wrong. I just feel like that. But he probably is not. But I don't know why. I just feel like he's represented by Drew Rosenhaus. I'm not 100% sure. And obviously, I know who Stingley's represented by Dave Mulgeta. And Dave Mulgeta is definitely going to want that contract. So I could see Dave Mulgeta like advising Stingley, "Hey, let's see what Sauce get. Let's see what Sauce get." So I do think that Nick would probably have to come to the table with a contract that basically Sting can't refuse. And now we know that Nick normally gives out 1, 2, 3 year contracts. I think he gave what you call the Nico 3 year deal. That was like one of the biggest deals. Like Nico and I think Tunsil both got 3 year contracts. Again, like I said, this is a little bit different than those contracts. This is a little different situation. And we're talking about your very first ever first round pick, and we're talking about paying somebody being the highest paid at their position. So I believe that Stingley will get a 4 year contract. And I think that if Nick offers, like I say, 4 years, $101 million contract, averaging like would be like 20, it'd be 25.2 million per year, and then get the fully guaranteed to about 78 to 80 million fully guaranteed. That way, when he signs a contract, he's the highest paid corner on all accounts. Most big number because it'll be one on one, $101 million per year. Be $25.2 million, and then fully guaranteed would be anywhere between 78 to 80 million. So he's the number one highest paid corner on all three factors. So even when Sauce and McDuffie get paid, and mostly Sauce, I think Sauce will get paid more than McDuffie. I think of the three, McDuffie would be the least paid of the three. Sauce will eclipse one of those fees. He won't eclipse all three. I don't even think he'll eclipse all two, but maybe he'll eclipse all two. He won't eclipse all three. And that way, in some fashion, Stingley is still the highest paid in some manner. Either the highest paid as far as the big number, highest paid number is money per year, or highest paid fully guarantees. And more likely, what Sauce will probably end up eclipsing would probably be money per year and be by a fraction. I don't think he'll eclipse the 100 million side, and I also don't think that he will eclipse the fully guaranteed because, like I said earlier, in the video before about the Jets, they still got to pay Gary Wilson. They got to decide what they're going to do with them because I don't think they're going to get rid of Gary Wilson. I think Gary Wilson is still going to be on their team, and I think they will give Gary Wilson a contract extension. So they actually got to make sure if they even want to pay Sauce because it might benefit them to probably move Sauce and gain assets. Honestly, so it's a lot of different factors when it comes to the Jets and with their contract. The Jets got a lot of stuff to work out, honestly. But when it comes to the Texans and Darius Stingley, if you offer Darius Stingley that 4 years, $101 million, being the highest paid as money per year, and also make him the highest paid as far as fully guaranteed, he's going to be the highest paid the moment he signs, and then even after a new contract comes in, even after McDuffie and Sauce or whoever else gets paid, he will still remain the highest paid in some fashion for the next year or two. And I think that right there will be the benefit of going ahead and getting the deal early. Because then whatever the signing bonus is, that counts on salary cap space this year because it's an extension. He still has a 5 year, like he still has this season, which will be his 4th year. Then he still has his 5th year option they'll play under. So his contract won't come into effect until 2 years from now. So we're talking about the 2027 season. is when the contract actually goes into effect and affects the salary cap space. Only thing that will affect the space now would be the signing bonus, wherever you get them for signing. That would affect today's salary cap, but everything else won't be effective until because it's an extension, and you already gave him a contract and you already gave him a fifth year option. It will be an extension on top of that. So you're talking about it won't really hurt your cap or anything until 2027. You good. You good. And he's the highest paid. And it shows um, that you want him here. It shows that you have faith in him. It shows that you believe that he is really that guy. And you want to do it before the price tag gets too high because you don't want Sauce to get what I'm just naming, and then Stingley goes out there and has another phenomenal season. First round, first team All Pro, Pro Bowler, even the Defensive Player of the Year, like Pastor Tang got this past year. Now we're talking about pushing close to $30 million. Now you're making the situation even worse. So, like my boy Swiss said, you want to avoid the curve before you hit it. So you want to get something done. And again, I think you might have to sit back and wait for Sauce to get paid and then get him paid right after Sauce because that just might be what they do. They might just be a stare off and they just waiting to see what Sauce do. But I would offer him this type of contract. Again, you do have the injury concerns, kind of similar with Nico, and that's the reason why Nico took the contract that he took. Is because Nico could have waited, and the way the season was going started for Nico, if he would have waited, he could be the highest paid receiver. But then he ended up missing 5 games, so he actually was smart by taking the contract that he took. And it also helped out us, and it made us look smart for offering the contract that we offered as well, especially how he started the season on a tear. You might want to do the same thing with Stingley and avoid this. And so when we see Stingley go out there and ball, we already got him paid and we got him on a bargain. That makes the most sense. And again, I know that Nick wants to get this contract done. He needs to get this contract done because this right here is his first real test as a general manager. We talked about with D'Amico and hiring and firing Bobby Slowick and bringing in the brand new offensive coordinator. This right here, getting these contracts, getting Stingley done, and then eventually getting Will done, and eventually getting CJ done. These right here, hey Nick, these are the contracts about a general manager that we like. Hey, this puts you on that type of scale to being that type of general manager. Like, share, subscribe. If you haven't, comment below. If you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.